So we'll just start with a quick welcome message and a little bit about us as Innovation Guelph, and then a bit more about Rhyze Ventures, the specific program, what the schedule looks like for the second cohort, and a little bit about the curriculum as well, so that you get a nice full picture. All of this information is also available online, so if you would like to look into any of these things in more detail, please feel free. That is the joy of doing everything virtually. You can check all these things while I'm speaking as well. Great. So just going to minimize some of my boxes here. So Innovation Guelph, we've been around since 2011. And if you're familiar with us, that's fantastic. If you're not, it's important to note that we are not just in Guelph. So if you are anywhere in Southwestern Ontario, this program is available to you. And I really like to think of us as a group that focuses on collaboration, cross-pollination, helping companies grow, scale, all of those important sort of details through mentorship, business support, programming, events. And now we're really looking at different types of networking as we've moved into a more virtual world. So since 2011, we have supported over 1,100 businesses. And so these range from startups to small to medium-sized enterprises, which is nice because we kind of have a place for an awful lot of businesses as you grow and scale. And our areas, again, we focus a lot on sort of the clean tech, advanced manufacturing, agro innovation, information and communication and technology. However, we have many other areas that we also look at, and Rhyze Ventures as a program is unique because, as you'll see later on in the overview, we don't just focus on those areas either. And one really important piece of Innovation Guelph is our focus on women in business. So with 54% of our startup clients being women founded or co-founded or led, that's pretty substantial when you look at the amount of women-led businesses in Ontario and nationally. And 42% of our SME clients are women-founded, co-founded, or led. So we have quite, we've focused on this for quite a while, and we're very proud of that. And as I mentioned, Rhyze Ventures is a program that runs through Southwestern Ontario, but we also have other programming at Innovation Guelph that actually is national. So we've expanded quite far outside of Guelph. So some of our other programs, there's the Innovation Guelph Startup Program. So this is really, it's a two-phase program. And if you're in sort of the startup and early phases of a scalable company, it's a great fit for those individuals. And you can move through stage 1 and then stage 2 if you progress as needed. And then we move into the fast lane programming that focuses on SMEs closer to that $1 million in revenue area. So it's sort of a different space, but still applying the same sort of principles around mentorship, collaboration, and expert assistance. We also have Rhyze Up and the Agro Innovator Accelerator. So these are very similar to the fast lane programs. However, they have slight differences. So they still run with companies that are a bit larger in scale, and they need to be at the stage that they are scaling. And so Rhyze Up is specifically focused on women-founded or co-founded companies, as is everything in our Rhyze umbrella of programming. And you can be eligible for this sort of programming if you're making $200,000 or more in revenue annually. And similar with the agricultural focus for the Agro Innovator Accelerator program, still looking at that sort of SME ready to hop up to that next stage, but making it a little bit more accessible for women and individuals in agriculture. then move into the Rhyze programming. And as you saw, we have things like Rhyze Up, that's for sort of that SME level, but then we also have Rhyze Ventures, which is what we're talking about today. And the Rhyze programming has been around since 2013, and it's actually wonderful that we have Christelle on the call today. Because this was her baby for a very long time. And we can all thank her for implementing all of these wonderful pieces and allowing it to continue to grow in so many great ways. And so since 2013, we have helped through the Rhyze project, an overarching umbrella of multiple different groups, over 1,700 local women at various stages of development in their businesses, which is great. So the Rhyze Ventures program is relatively new. We are actually just in the middle of our first cohort. And so in this newest iteration of Rhyze programming, I really like to think of it as a holistic program. So custom design created by women entrepreneurs for women entrepreneurs. We focus on looking at in-class learning. Currently, that's virtual. We also do practical hands-on project work with various industry specialists. There's mentorship, where you're paired with a leader in your community. And then there's also peer-to-peer networking to really address a whole range of elements that you go through in your business day to day to the big picture. Let's plan the next few years. So Rhyze Ventures is focused on 3 separate streams. So there's a small business stream. This focuses on sort of your new and established businesses. They should have a local regional market focus. And they would usually be looking at sort of growing or refining their product or service. This could be someone that has retail in sort of a downtown storefront. Online is also an option, and is very content in the small business realm. That's one option. The next is the scalable business stream. Again, you should be a new or established business. We are targeting to focus on STEM, agriculture, and clean tech. However, we allow other companies in so long as they have the scalable focus. So that means basically that you're growth or export oriented. They are usually product focused, but you could be somewhere else and be ready to franchise. And that would fit within the scalable component. And then our last group is for social enterprise. And again, you need to be a new or established business. This one can be focused on local, regional, or global markets. And you should be committed to both business and purpose, right? So profit and purpose in this group. And now, I can't actually see everyone that's on the call, otherwise I would have you raise your hand for this one. I'm assuming it's mostly participants that are in attendance and not too many volunteer mentors, but we'll go through what Rhyze Ventures looks like for both sides of this. So some of the benefits for participants, as I mentioned, it's an 8-month program with in-class time. So right now we're doing that virtually, and depending on how things roll, we have that in place, or we will move back to the in-class space. And this is 2 sessions per month for 4 hours each. They're led by individuals that are experts in subject matter, seasoned business leaders, academics. We try to bring in a nice variety so that we get an interesting component of different teaching styles and different avenues for expertise. Then you'll also have one-on-one support with a carefully matched mentor. So this is someone that really is going to focus on your leadership and development and soft skills. These are leaders in the community, and you will meet with them 1 hour per month for the 8 months. So a total of 8 hours is what our volunteer mentors commit to. And then you'll also have time to work on hands-on projects with industry specialists. So these would be to develop or implement a tailor-made project for you. So it could be anything from perhaps marketing, maybe you need a branding plan, or an online strategy plan, something along those lines, or perhaps you need some assistance in finance, right? Or any of those areas that your company at that exact time might need some assistance in. So these are hands-on projects that you'll go through both a diagnostic phase to sort of see where are some of the gaps, where can we improve different pieces, and then you'll actually dig into the project portion. And then we also have networking events throughout the 8-month span. So these are combination events where all 3 streams are able to come together, all of the volunteer mentors. So you end up with at least 120 individuals that are invited to these networking events and a really great spread of leaders in the community. We also have implemented some networking components throughout the in-class sessions to make sure that you're spending time with other entrepreneurs, working with other entrepreneurs, and learning from each other, not just from instructors and the industry specialists. And then at the very end, we also have a chance to pick for cash awards between $5,000 to $25,000, depending on the stream, which is very exciting. And throughout, we work on elements around the pitch as well, including some in-class time for that and a qualifying round to make sure everyone's comfortable for a public event. And if anyone on the phone or on the line right now is here for a volunteer mentor role, I'll quickly run through those. So some of the benefits are having access to staff coaching and troubleshooting. So that's just support throughout if needed. You also are invited to all of our networking events, which is wonderful, including the International Women's Day, which everyone is invited to. And again, for Christelle. And it's just a really lovely event that is just absolutely wonderful. And then you're also paired through our Pollinate system, one of our other partners, who has an algorithm that brings in your learning style, your communication styles, what fields your company is in, all of those really important details to make sure that your mentorship match fits well, because it's very important that you are working with someone that you can communicate with. So that's really an exciting piece of this as well. And you get a lovely report on that to see how you were paired up and learn a little bit about yourself too. The commitment is to attend 1 mentorship orientation webinar and to spend a minimum of 8 hours. So that's your 1 hour monthly with your mentee. And these can be virtually or in person, depending on our current situation and depending on what works for both individuals. And basically just to share experiences, expertise through a leadership plan that focuses on soft skill development. Okay, and now a little bit more. So our timeline and schedule for the second cohort, just so that we can run through this, and if anyone would like to look at this in more detail, it is on the website. So basically you apply, and our applications are open from starting today until May 31st. And if you have any questions about that, we'll go through the application questions at the end as well. And then we go through our selection, and you'll be notified of acceptance by late June. At that time, you'll have to fill out that survey that I was mentioning about learning styles, communication styles, all of those great things. And you will get paired with a mentorship match. Then in January, and we'll go into the exact dates for all of these classes so that you can make sure that it fits within your schedule. In October, I think I may have said January a minute ago. In October, late October, our classes start. And so basically it's every other week, and it's the 4-hour time slot, afternoons 1 to 5 p.m. So from October till January, you have classes. Then you move into your project implementation portion, and you get 2 months to really focus on that. So you're not worried about managing too many other pieces. And then you go back to your classes for another, from March till June, for another chunk of time, same sort of schedule, 2 classes per month or every other week, however you prefer to look at it. And throughout that entire time frame, You're meeting with your volunteer mentor, working on leadership, working on other pieces around networking events are scheduled throughout to keep everyone connected. And then at the end, there's the ability to pitch for cash awards, which will be summer 2021. So that's just your nice overview for the next year. And then just to quickly reiterate what some of the core concepts are for Rhyze Ventures. So it's the 12 sessions. Those are those 4-hour educational components, time with your mentor, focusing on leadership and soft skills, and then time with industry specialists to tackle hands-on projects for your company. Oops. And then this is also on the website, just in case. Anything when there's a lot of details, it's always on the website so that you can go back and check into it later. But this gives a bit more detail. As I mentioned in the beginning, there are the 3 streams. Each stream has class time on a different day. So that's very important. And at a different location. So small business is on Tuesdays at the Business Center Guelph-Wellington, Scalable on Wednesdays at Innovation Guelph, Social Enterprise on Thursdays at the Waterloo Region Small Business Center. And those are the days that it will be throughout the entire second cohort. So when you fill out your application, we do ask that you select which category you believe you fit best into. It is important to note that when we go through, we make sure that it is the correct match and the best match for you to get the most out of this program, and to make sure that it's not based on the day or location. It needs to be based on where your company is best suited, because the entire reason behind the streams is to make sure the content is tailor fit to you and what you need. So this is the overarching schedule for the second cohort. So you can take a look, make sure that it fits, and look at what sort of adjustments might need to be made. And then we have some additional perks. So as I mentioned, the pitch competition, that's between $5,000 to $25,000, depending on the stream. There's also 1 year of online learning that you're provided with after the program is finished. So June 2021, you would have access to this and a series of courses. So after you've sort of developed some of these foundation pieces, you worked on your project, maybe you realized, oh, I might need some more time with HR. There's courses online that are available for you to take advantage of for free for 1 year after the program. And then also, of course, the networking events that occur throughout. And so those are just some of the additional perks, and we do try to tailor things as we go. So sometimes more wonderful opportunities pop up throughout. Okay, and so this is my information, and also Ella, who is our program coordinator's information. So if you need to reach out to either of us, please feel free to. Any questions, we're happy to assist with. And I will just open up the chat again, and we can see if there's any questions that have popped up through there. Or perhaps I will unmute Ella for a moment if she has any.
Heather did ask if the program was open to sole proprietors, which it definitely is. Oh, there's one question. What if you live outside the Guelph region? Is there an online option?
It's a great question. So currently we are entirely online, but our hope is that by the second cohort, we will be back in sessions in person. And we are looking at, so for the third cohort, we are putting in a request for a satellite location. So that will assist with expanding the program out to other areas. It just won't be ready for the second cohort. So you do need to be able to get into either Kitchener or Guelph for the sessions.
So another question that's come in is how many businesses per stream will be accepted?
Also an excellent question. So small business is 25, scalable 20, and social enterprise 15. Oh, okay, so I see a question has popped up. Are there certain small businesses that are prioritized right now? We do not have a specific priority focus area for small businesses. So it's more important that you will get the most out of this program so that you are, you know, at the right stage for it. When we get to sort of the application part, a big part of this is making sure that you have a business plan already. So this should not be sort of mistaken for the Start a Company Plus program. You should have gone through that or something like that before entering here. So does that sort of answer your question? Great. Oh, another great question. So it was, is there a business plan model that is preferred? So again, when we get into the application, you'll see that we've actually included a fillable business plan. So you can take, if you've used any different type, you can take that information and plug it into the business model canvas that we've included just for ease to make sure everyone's responses are consistent. So that is available there. And I would recommend going into the application, downloading that, filling it out, and then going back through to complete the entire application. So we have put it right at the top as an option for you to do that. Okay, so maybe there's no more questions right now about the overall program. And if anything comes to you later, we're on here, so feel free to ask or feel free to reach out to myself or Ella, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I will pull up just the website. So you can go to the exact same site that you went to, just Innovation Guelph, to register for this program. And then right now, where it used to say that applications were coming soon, it now says apply now. So you'll be able to click on that link that was right above where you're registering, and this will pop up. Just refreshing it. And you will see, my hope is by perhaps tomorrow, a note with the business model canvas at the top. So that will be right there, and then you can click on it. If you want to get started right away, we'll show you tonight where the business model canvas is in there. So the application is divided up, so you'll go through sort of your company information. That's pretty straightforward, and there's certain pieces, when you click on them, you'll see other options appear. So something like your company website, you'll be able to put it in there. If you say no, the extension just doesn't appear. Then you move into your primary contact, which would be, I'm assuming, the individuals on the call today, and an alternate contact just in case. So this would usually be if you have a business partner, it might be there. And then social media, and then we move into some leadership information. So this is where we're looking at how many founders, and then some of the details. Is your company woman co-owned or co-led? And you'll see more options appear when you click that option. This is very important because Rhyze Ventures is for individuals that identify as a woman exclusively. So you need to be either a co-owner or co-led. And then details like what percentage of your company is woman co-owned, co-led. These are all very important just for us to ensure you're the right fit for this program. And no, so you would still respond yes, and then you could just say 100%, and you could write just if you're the founder, if you're the owner. Sorry, the question was, if a single owner, would I respond no? So no, you should have options while you're going through to make sure that that's made clear. And then, so we keep going through sort of all of those pieces. We'd like to know if you've been involved in any previous entrepreneurial programs, involved with other innovation centers. This is just good knowledge for us as sort of a background. It really makes no difference on your, eligibility for this. Then we also have corporate information. And this is the area where your eligibility actually comes into play. So it's very important, one, that you download the FAQs. This will give you a lot of answers to pretty commonly occurring questions that have come up in the first cohort. So it's important that you read those over. It's not very long. So take a quick look. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the business model canvas. So you can, for now, until it's uploaded on the top part, which should be tomorrow, you can access the business model canvas PDF version here. So download a copy of that for yourself even today and start filling it in on your own before you go back through for the rest of the application. Then, of course, you have an option to upload your business model canvas on the application here. That's pretty easy. And then we have a few short answer questions. We move into things around the business stage indicators. Again, I think fairly clear. If, as we're sort of going through this, any questions come up, let me know. And then if you have any investments is the next stage. So there's a few different pieces for the business stage indicators, just to give us a better sense of where your company's at right now. Okay, and total revenue. It's important to note that this is just used for metrics, but does not limit your participation in any way. If you're at zero revenue or a few $100,000, it doesn't make a difference for your eligibility. And then what sort of markets you're looking at. So we've got this divided up for what your current target market is, and then what a future target market might be. So if you plan on expanding, you can let us know. And then it's really also important, anywhere that we've said things like with specific examples or explain why, please give us as much information as you can. This is really going to help paint a picture of what your company, where your company's at, what they're doing, what sort of assistance they might need, and it really helps us in the selection phase. So if you ever see that, please fill it out as complete as possible. Okay, and then we also have some more program-specific information. And again, all of these are questions that if you give us more depth, it's just better for your application. And then we just simply have the client service agreement, and you'll see there's an embedded link here. So when you click on that, you'll be able to give that a read. You need to accept that to submit. And then just a request for permission for future email communication. You do not need to actually accept that if you don't want to. Don't worry. Although we do produce, I think, some pretty good information, so I would recommend it, but I might be biased. So if you're working through this application and you need a little bit more assistance on this, we also will, we will have a few more info sessions, and each info session will run through the application and have the breakout room option. So you're more than welcome to register for any of those and ask those questions at that time. You're also invited to email either myself or Ella, the one email that is the easiest. So we both have emails with our names, but there's also an email that is simply rhyzeventures@innovationguelph.ca. You'll find that on the website, so you can ask there. If you ask the info at Innovation Guelph, that email will also get forwarded to us. So if you reach out in any sort of way, it will make its way to the Rhyze Ventures team, and we will assist. So feel free to reach out to us. Depending on the volume, we'll start with responding to emails or scheduling quick phone calls. If the volume is high enough, then we will start scheduling additional webinar options to go through the application in small groups with individuals, just to make sure that we're able to sort of maximize everyone's time. I do advise getting your application in earlier if you can, because if you started earlier and you have questions, we're more apt to have more time to assist with those. And it just makes it a little bit easier for everyone else. So if you need any assistance, reach out to us. If, you know, tomorrow or the next day you decide maybe I should have asked a few more questions, feel free to register for another webinar, or we're around. So thank you so much for attending this evening, and for the great questions that did come through. And I look forward to reading a lot of applications from you.